Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from today. This is our market review session again with us here at Easy FX Academy. And without taking too much of your time, let's just quickly go into the charts and let's just look at it together. So we'll start from gold as usual, and I'm just going to basically be giving you sort of a summary of my expectations for some of these guys. But we're starting with gold, right? So basically, gold is bullish, right? Quite evidently bullish, and definitely we've just gotten to see a more recent break or a recent break rather of this previous high around here, which is around 3674 or so. Now, basically, I would expect that we should have some level of retracement happen very soon. Now, what that means, especially with the fact that we've seen a doji here, right? What that means basically is that I would prefer to see maybe something like something like this, like a drop, and then we get to see price continue. And basically, I'm targeting, this previous high around here. All right, this little high around here. This is around 3657.05. So basically, I want to watch out for a possible retest of that region of that, previous resistance. Basically turning into a pivot, so resistance becoming, a support, and then we get to see the buys happen from there. So that'll be my first expectation. Or my second expectation will be for a much deeper drop, which would be something you might want to look more or less into if you're more conservative, especially with the fact that gold is quite unpredictable right now, right? The fact that you might want to go watch for this demand region here around 3646. Is that it? Yeah, 3646.98 and 3633.99. Basically, that'll be the region I would also want to watch out for possible buys off of. So that's just my basic idea or my basic bias right now for gold. That's just my basic bias right now for gold. I hope that is clear. Let's really look at AED card also. If you notice, gold and AED card basically are sort of gold and AED pairs rather are sort of somehow similar in the way they move. You can see massive bullishness from gold. You see, AD pairs, some of the AD pairs at least, you see them having sort of something similar also. And so for quite some time now, we've also seen bullishness being replicated on AUD card. Now, basically for me on AUD cards, let me delete this first. Let me delete this inner one first. So I'll explain what I mean, what I'm watching out basically for. This is going to be my demand region. Now it's quite large. I realize that it's quite large. Right, it's between 0.91830 and 0.9 1488. I realize that this is quite large. The idea is very, very simple. I realize, or I can see rather, that we are still having that retracement happening. I just want to watch out for the possible end of that retracement. Then I get to join in, for my trade. All right, so let me see on the 1 hour time frame. I think that is where I saw that guy relaxing at earlier. So basically, I'm just marking the sort of pivot that I can pick up inside that region, and that will be where that basically is what I'll be using for my demand region for the buys on AUD cards. Let me just push that up a little bit, right? And then preferably I love using just the sort of highest and lowest candle there. So this might be a slimmer one. All right, but let's use a smaller one, right? Let's use a smaller one. All right, so it's basically between 0.91780 and 0.91605. I believe this would be more or less, this will be well, it's still all right, but I'll prefer to put my stop loss maybe just a little bit below here, just to as they would say, just to guide. You understand? So I just love that. But basically, that is my current bias for AED card. Basically, I'll see it drop into here, then definitely or hopefully we should get to see the buys that break that high. So that's it for AED card. Next up, I don't need to really go into many of the AD pairs, but Euro AUD is something I think I'm watching out for also for our time frame. Let's see. Yeah, so UAD basically we're still quite bearish on this guy. You know, I'm still quite bearish on this guy right now. I have two POIs marked out here on my charts. All right, the first one I think. Let me see if I can pick up. Yeah, so this is it on the 1 hour time frame. All right, between 1.77150 and 1.76866. Basically, that is my POI1 for the sales on Euro AUD. POI2 for the sales on Euro AUD is between 1.78008 and 1.77602. So basically, those are the two possibilities I'm watching out for right now on AED card. Now, in case you're wondering why exactly I have two possibilities, I'm just having two POIs and then I'm going to be watching out for basically what I get to see price do when it gets there. So basically, I'm watching out for I have entry criteria that I'm going to be getting to work with, all right? And that's why I would advise you before taking any of our trades to also work with your own entry criteria, for those trades, all right? So this basically are the two POIs I'll be more or less very, very concerned with on Euro AD for this week. All right, maybe it might not even be for your week, maybe just till like Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on how much the market gets to move. All right, so let's go on. Let's go on. Let me see E card, Euro card. So quite interesting here on Euro card. We have a very, very interesting trend line that just basically got broken right now. All right, and basically I'll be expecting that trend line to be retested at some point. I'll be expecting that trend line to be retested at some point. So what exactly am I expecting overall right now on EuroCAD? Let's push up. Let me see if that'll be clearer for me on the. All right, so this is basically what I'm watching out for. I'll give you about two scenarios, then I'll give you possible entries you can work with. All right, so entry number one for the possible sell continuation, and I'll explain why I'm referring to this as a sell continuation right now. Or I would be around here. This is at 1.62439 and 1.62340. That'll be those are the coordinates rather for the possible first, at least that'll be my first POI for the sales. Secondly, what you might want to watch out for might be a break and retest. What do I mean by that? So basically, I want to see maybe something towards this end, at least till, yeah, it's around this. I think I should go back to the 4 hour time frame. Right, so around somewhere here. All right, at least I still expect that the sales should still, at least take price lower, a lot lower rather. So basically, this is what I'm watching out for right now on EuroCAD. I think I confirm from the daily. Yeah, I think there's something we should get to see. Basically, I just want to see price recover, the space left behind by the fair value gap. But after we do get to see maybe a break and retest, or the retest rather of this trend line, or maybe the retest of this earlier zone that I mentioned, above there. But any one of the two should be able to give us some very good profit during the course of the week. Let's see Euro USD also, Euro USD. So for Euro USD, if you remember from our session last week, basically we're expecting sort of sweep of a high and then price to continue selling. All right, that we saw that happen. I think this was the eye. I've already forgotten which of the eyes we were basically looking at. But right now, this week, I'm basically expecting the same thing right now. A sweep of another high, and then we get to see price give us another sell. So basically, the current eye that we're watching out for. So I'm not giving out zones here necessarily. All right, but the current eye I'm watching out for right now, at least on my chart, is around 1.17806. So it might differ depending on your broker, but this are the value, or this is the value rather, on my own chart. That's what I would advise you to use the values that you have for your own broker on your own charts, right? So that basically is the eye. That previous eye, basically, if you see it on the 4 hour time frame, is what we're watching out for a sweep off. So basically, what I just want to see is for liquidity to be swept from there, then we get to see another retracement that takes price towards the downside again. All right, so for me, I might just watch out for that sweep. Once I get to maybe a rejection candle being formed around after that position or after that point, then definitely I'll be watching out for possible buys from somewhere. Sorry, possible sales rather from somewhere around that region. So I hope that's very, very clear. So basically, buy sweep of this high, then we get to see the retracement sales happening on this guy, 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 on this guy. Maybe at least up to somewhere here. Right, maybe at least up to somewhere. So if you're watching out for possible buys, maybe you might want to watch out for your buys around 1.17366 and 1.17266. All right, 1.17366 and 1.17266. So that might be where you might be relaxing for price to come back and give you, possible buy entries. All right, so that's it for Euro USD. We'll look at GBP card also. So similar to what I just explained on Euro, I think on Euro card, right? GBP card, we've also seen a break of this trend line here, right? And basically, what I'm expecting is something similar, right? I want to see. Let me come to the 1 hour time frame. Let me see if we can drop and get something a bit more interesting for us to work with. So, possibly, right? Very possibly, we might still get to see this zone working for the sell re-entries, right? So either we get to see this happening, which well, actually, I think this is just it. Because if I thought we get to see this happening, this will be at the same time a retest of the trend line, and also price coming into a based drop supply for us to get in for the sales, all right? And you might just hold the sales till just to be safe. Just to be safe, I think this is still quite all right. Just to be safe, so to somewhere around 1.86 sorry 1.86 381, right? So that'll basically be what I'm watching out for right now, because I would still see that retracement was upside. Then we get to see the possible sell continuation off of that. So that's it for GBP card. Let's see GBP JPY. Right, so for GBP JPY, I'm not going to take too much time on this. Basically, what I'm seeing here is very, very simple. We're seeing, sort of, bullish structure. Sorry, right? We're having this, 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 then this, right? So I'm just watching out for the continuation of that. And I think I saw this on the 4 hour time frame or the 2 hour time frame, right? Where we have, was it on 4 hour? No, it was in 2 hour then. Right, on the 2 hour time frame, we just have a clear order block, basically sitting around there. And if you look at maybe the 1 hour time frame, you'll still see that is. Was it 1 hour? Sorry, let me just confirm. Yeah, if you see it even on the 4 hour, it's still showing. But basically, you can see that region we have is sort of job based rally, demand region being formed around there. So basically that's what I'm watching out for as a region for my demand, for basically for price to come into, and then we get to see possible buys from. So this would be where I'm expecting equity to be resting, and then I just want to see something like this play out. Right, so this is the setup for GBP demand region between 200.082 and 199.925. So that's just it for GBP for the buys, right? Let's say GBP USD. Then after GBP USD, we'll just do USD card, and we'll call it a session, right? So for GBP USD, I believe for GBP USD, something similar to what I think I explained on that was last week, right? That was last week. So I'm watching out for, yes, definitely. Price already we've seen a sweep of this previous high around here. All right, but let me come to the daily time frame. I think I saw something interesting on the daily time frame. I want to be cognizant about how this is it. I want to take cognizance of it. I think I got that right. So don't mind me. So basically we have this pivot region basically sitting on a daily time frame. And one thing I can tell you with truth is that daily daily time frame daily time frame pivot regions are quite important, and they are quite significant, at least when it comes to the reactions that you get from them, especially if you are going to scale them down or refine them towards the lower time frames, maybe the 15, 30 minutes, maybe even the 1 hour time frame, right? So basically I want to see possible reactions very soon off of this guy when we get to see a push towards here. So basically what I'm expecting right now, GBP USD, let me come to the 4 hour time frame, is a buy to sell sort of scenario. Buy to sell sort of scenario, right? So the pivot region, if you're able to mark it out on your chart, is between 1.36567 and 1.36325. Again, these values might differ as a result of your brokers and whatnot. But basically that's that's the value for the supply region basically on my chart right now. So I want to see that push up, all right, at least that buy movement, then definitely we should get to see some sales. So that basically is what I'm watching out for. Sorry, for my sales right now on GBP USD. Last but not the least for our session today would be USD card, the US dollar against the Canadian dollar. Basically what I want to show you is very, very simple. All right, and this basically for me will be I won't call it a technical trade, but I'll call it something that you have to, let's just say you have to be very, very careful. You have to be very watchful about it, right? So basically, the reason why I'm saying you have to be watchful about it is because usually on USD card, there sometimes you have some very, very interesting candles. USD card, USD CHF, a lot of CHF pairs actually. It's not as much on card pairs as it is on CHF pairs, but still card pairs average, where you get to see some very, very interesting candles with long wicks, unnecessarily long wicks, right? And this is just one of them around here. So basically, what I want to watch out for should be a sell, right? I'm watching out for the sales right now on USD card to still hold for a little bit, and that would only happen if we get to see that this zone doesn't hold. All right, but I do not believe that this zone should hold. I believe that this zone should be broken, because if you see, I believe that this zone should be good because on the daily time frame, right, even on the daily time frame, you can see that it still looks like price is trying to move towards the upside. All right, at least from around early June. Was this early June, mid June, basically? All right, and basically what I've seen right now is a sort of head and shoulder pattern being formed here. Right, this is on the daily time frame. Right, so we have something like this right now. So I'm basically expecting prices to drop a little bit into this demand region that we have here, which also coincides with the trend line support that we have. So basically, I'm just watching out for that possibility to play out on USD card. So I just want to say a drop. However, for the possible re-entries for the sell, so that you don't necessarily need to wait for price to get here before you get in for the buys, right? Okay, let me even give the coordinate for that before we move. So coordinate for the buy region or my demand region, if at all you're a swing trader and you have the ability to wait for that, 1.36598 and 1.36165. That's the demand. Those are the coordinates rather for the demand region for the possible buys on this guy. It might take a while before price gets there. However, for the sales right now, to join in for the sales, I'm watching out for something towards this end. All right, and that's just basically a break and retest of this zone here. So this is around 1.37. Let me zoom in. 1.3. Sorry, 1. Is it 32 or 37? I'm saying. Give me a minute. Yeah, 1.37. 1.37657 and 1.37452. 1.37657 and 1.37452. So basically, I want to watch out for sales from around there. All right, but the idea is very, very simple. We still want to watch out for a break and retest. So I want to see price breaking below here, then we'll get to see a retest, price pushing up into that region a bit, then definitely we might be able to catch flowing for the sales, all right, at least up to this point. But I'm going to be very, very cautious and watch this a lot because this move that we've had is quite not necessarily impulsive, but it shows that there's some level of momentum for the sales. So basically I want to watch out for any other region that might come maybe before here. Or I don't say whatever price does. If I get to see maybe another re-entry, it might even be around here where price might still decide to come as far up as here. Maybe I should just give it just in case 1.38139 and 1.37944. That those are the coordinates for the second period I'm just seeing right now. But basically I want to watch out for either one of these. So for a break and retest, right? So price dropping, basically price has already broken, this first one. So if I get to see a retest of this one, definitely I'll get to join in for the sales. If I get to see a retest of this one, definitely also I'll get to join in for the sales. And like I usually say, one of the things I love to watch out for is the rejection candle pattern formation. Some people use engulfing candle pattern formation. Some people have other things that they look out for on the lower time frames as entry confirmations for their trades. All right. So anyone that is more or less useful to you, more or less you're more confident in, by all means I'd advise you to go full in. All right, not full margin. You can go in, but I not say you should do full margin. Don't be me tell you that one. All right, so with this yours of mine, thank you very much for coming for today's session. I'm very sure you have gained value. As usual, please by all means practice, 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 and ensure you practice proper risk management in all the trades that you take this week. And I am very, very sure that we are going to have a profitable week ahead. See you guys in our next market review session. Goodbye. Have a lovely week.